I can't believe this is happening to me. I found myself pausing this episode multiple times saying, "Oh, that's so cute." What is wrong with me? Is this the Dandadan effect? The other half of the time I paused the episode was because of just how ridiculous situations can get in this show, but more on that later. Usually cowardly and timid characters are hit and miss for me, especially when it comes to main characters. Okuran leans more into the timid side of things, because when it comes to fighting, he seems up for it. However, in social situations, this man is a total goofball. He reminds me of a younger version of myself, especially this first scene. I've done the exact same thing Okuran did, pretending the girl I liked wasn't there because I felt like there was no way she would want to talk to me. In my opinion, his timidness is a lot more endearing than annoying, like it would be with other characters. I believe the reason for this is because of the hilarious situations he ends up getting into. Also, Ayase is the perfect balance to his personality. It was so nice to see her bump into him and greet him in her own little way. Her sassiness plays off so well with his timidness. This is the first time I found myself pausing the episode and saying, "Aww." Okuran and Ayase are talking about UFOs and everything seems to be blissful until Okuran enters his classroom and reality kicks in. He's still the class's whipping boy. This doesn't seem to bother him because all he can think about is Ayase, which is where my second "aww" came in. Ayase feels the exact same way and starts doing this shaking movement thing because of how desperately she wants to talk to Okuran about UFOs. To my female audience, any of them watching, have you ever done something like this? I've got to hand it to the animators over at Science Saru for some of the intricate character acting in this episode. My favourite being how Okuran awkwardly sets up his books on the table. What follows this is even more awkwardness. Okuran and Ayase are like water and oil. They are totally out of sync in their thinking. They spend a whole 7 minutes barely missing each other as they are tracking each other down. This scene is strong characterization for me. Ayase's preferred method of finding Okuran is shouting out, not worrying if anyone is disturbed by her presence, while Okuran is the exact opposite. He is super considered, so he quietly whispers out what he's looking for. This final bench scene is pure cinema. The composition of this shot is placed in such a way that you can see the opposing character through the window. As their thoughts get out of sync, so do the positions of their body in the framing of this shot. I love this little effect as it gets you to empathize even more with the way the characters are feeling about their misunderstandings of each other. Also, it's done in a comedic way that highlights how close they are, yet so far. Now we've come up to the "aww" number 3 moment. Okuran and Ayase both get up. They aren't looking where they're going, so they end up walking into each other for this tooth kiss. That was awkward and probably painful. I've seen worse first kisses in anime, so they will survive. They get into an argument over their shared embarrassment, which leads to Okuran storming to the toilet. He takes a leak and realizes his balls are gone. When I was watching this, I turned into the hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right guy. Because how on earth do you walk around for give or take 12 hours without realizing your crown jewels are missing? If I woke up in the morning and looked down at my todger and realized my tea bags were missing, the whole neighborhood would know something was up. This anime never disappoints me with the bizarre situations that they put the characters in and the even more bizarre character interactions. Like, what is this pose? If you walked up to a girl like this in real life, teed up with your hands in front of your crotch, saying, "We need to talk," you'd better hope she likes you, because the popo are gonna be on your ass. Then again, I'd probably be hunched over like that if I realized my equipment was missing. ISA shoos him away because, come on, but then she feels bad about it afterwards. So this new girl from the opening bumps into Okuron. At first, I thought they were gonna do the whole love triangle shit, especially when I heard her high-pitched voice, but her real intentions come through soon enough. It turns out that she just wanted to get attention and she was toying about with Okuron. The crazy part was ISA's reaction to this chick. She uses her psychic powers to drop a bathtub on her head. Then she glomps Okuron in a display of dominance, giving Pinky this passive-aggressive smack talk. Pinky is in the opening, so she must be a regular cast of the show. I thought she would have powers, but I don't know where they're going with this character. I'll just have to wait and see. That was the bulk of the episode. They head to Granny Seiko's place. She grills Okuron for not noticing that his balls were missing, which I agree with. But then she adds in this weird pencil dick comment, which I was just like, Granny Seiko, you are... It turns out an evil spirit is inside Okuron. That evil spirit happens to be Turbo Granny. You see, she took his balls as ransom so Okuron could do her bidding, but it didn't quite work out the way she wanted. So she's stuck in this random cat, which I guess makes her the dimple of this series. So I'm expecting some funny shenanigans with her throughout season 1. The way it's explained is that Okuron has Turbo Granny's power, but her consciousness was split apart from her and put into the cat because of Granny Seiko's fan. This essentially renders her useless, so they strike a deal with her to return back Okuron's balls. Her response is priceless. She can't return his balls because she dropped them somewhere. This is just ridiculous. Imagine going about your day on the way from school or work and you stumble upon a loose pair of human testicles that are just slowly rolling down the street. That imagery is nightmare fuel for decades. You'd think she would handle the whole having his balls situation seriously instead of just dropping them wherever she wants willy-nilly. If life imitates art and authors draw upon their personal experiences, I wonder what grandmas Yukinobu Tatsu has been exposed to, because these two are just crazy in entirely different ways. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and it just goes to show how much that first arc did for me in terms of investment for these two characters. Besides Okuron losing his nuts, I still can't believe that's a thing. This easily could have been some sort of shoujo or rom-com anime episode. Usually those types of shows aren't my cup of tea, but this episode had me entertained from start to finish. I've grown a fondness for this duo, so I found myself loving every single awkward moment of this episode, despite it being the least action-packed and plot progressive episode so far.